Remember when the market was red hot a few years ago? When homes sold in a day, often for more than asking, and neighbors compared sale prices like they were keeping score. For a lot of homeowners, those numbers from 2022 are still stuck in their minds, and honestly, that's one of the biggest psychological barriers in today's real estate market. You're watching Community Real Estate Group London and Area Living, where we share expert real estate tips and neighborhood insights to help you move forward with 100% confidence. And here's the truth. The market we had in 2022 doesn't exist anymore. But our brains haven't quite caught up. Psychologists call it anchoring. It's when the first number we see or remember becomes our mental reference point. If you saw homes like yours selling for $850,000 in 2022, that number becomes the anchor. Even when logic tells you the market has changed, emotion whispers, "My house is still worth that." It's a completely normal reaction, but it's also a dangerous one because the longer you hold on to that anchor, the harder it becomes to make decisions based on reality. You start second-guessing fair offers, delaying your move, and missing windows of opportunity that line up with your real estate and life goals. Now let's talk about what the actual market looks like here in Southwestern Ontario, in the greater London area, Exeter, Thames Centre, for example. The latest data shows we're sitting firmly in a buyer's market. Inventory is high, price growth has flattened, and buyers have options once again. In London alone, we're hovering around 10,000 active listings. That's a far cry from the days when homes were practically flying off the market. But it's not all doom and gloom. Quite the opposite. What's interesting is that while sentiment overall feels cautious, the people who are actually listing right now, many are finding success because they've adapted. They've stopped comparing to the past and started focusing on what really matters, their next move. In psychology, there's another concept called loss aversion. We feel the pain of losing money more intensely than the joy of gaining it. So when a seller thinks, "I could have sold way more in 2022, it stings, even if today's sale price still means they're walking away with years of equity. And that emotional weight leads many homeowners to freeze. They wait for the perfect time that might never come. But here's the thing, real estate isn't about perfect timing. It's about personal timing. Maybe you're downsizing because maintaining a big property just doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe you're relocating to be closer to your kids or simplifying life after retirement. Those are real motivators, and they're far more important than chasing a market high that's long, long gone. Take Exeter, for example. It's a quieter small town market, but it's stable. Prices haven't crashed. They've adjusted. Homes that are priced realistically, aligned with current comparables, are selling within a reasonable time frame. Thames Centre tells a similar story. Listings can take longer, but the ones that are priced with strategy and patience are moving. The key is reframing how you see value. Instead of thinking, "I'm losing money compared to 2022, think, "I'm unlocking my equity at today's value to move into my next chapter." Now let's be practical for just a moment. If you're holding off on listing because you're waiting for prices to bounce back, consider this. By the time they do, interest rates will likely have adjusted as well, and that can offset any gain you make on the sales side. Buyers who are active now are serious, they're qualified, they're patient, and they're ready to negotiate. That's a market you could work within. And if you're buying and selling in the same market, which most people are, the math often balances out. You might sell for less, but you'll also buy for less. It's relative. In other words, you're trading within the same environment. Emotionally, that's a big shift. It means letting go of the old anchor and focusing on your real why. Because the moment you do, everything becomes easier. Decisions, pricing, even the negotiation process. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two homeowners on the same street in North London. Both bought before 2015, both ready to downsize. The first seller insists on holding out for the 2022 price point, $850,000 for example. They list high, sit on the market, and eventually reduce. By the time this sells months later, the buyer pool has cooled further and the stress has doubled. The second seller prices based on 2025 comparables, around $640,000 for example. The home sells in 3 weeks. They move into a smaller place in small town Ontario for $540,000, pocketing the difference and finding themselves from the upkeep that was weighing them down. Same market, different mindsets. One person anchored, the other person focused on the future. There's also a fascinating behavioral twist happening right now, what I'd call selective optimism. People want to believe prices will rise again soon, and they might, gradually. But if you look at the data, we're seeing small, steady improvements, not the leaps we saw 3 years ago. In August, for example, London's average home price ticked up about $2,000 a month over month. That's a sign of stabilization, not a surge. And that's good news. Stability means predictability, and predictability helps both buyers and sellers plan without panic. For long-term owners, this is where perspective matters most. If you bought your home 10 to 15 years ago, your gains are significant, even with today's adjustment. Townhomes, for instance, have appreciated by over 300% since 2005. That's an incredible return. So rather than chasing an old high, focus on the fact that you're still in a strong equity position. The goal isn't to win the market, it's to win the transition. Now I get it. This isn't purely numbers and charts, it's emotional. Homes aren't just assets. They're memories, they're milestones, and comfort zones. But the market doesn't measure sentiment. It measures supply and demand. And right now, the sellers who succeed are the ones who can emotionally detach enough to make strategic choices. Here's a mindset shift that helps many of our clients. Instead of asking, what's my home worth? Start asking, what is my next stage of life worth to me? When you think that way, pricing becomes less about pride and more about purpose. So if you're feeling stuck, if you've been quietly watching listings and thinking, maybe next spring, it's worth having a conversation now. Because timing your sale right isn't about guessing market peaks. It's about aligning your goals with where the market truly is today. And the data shows that cautious optimism is returning. In the Greater London area, sales have started to stabilize. In Huron County, including Exeter, listings are lasting a bit longer, but holding value. The National Sentiment Index even jumped over by 4 points this past fall. That means people are slowly regaining confidence. Confidence builds momentum, and that's how real recoveries begin. So don't anchor yourself in today's numbers. Anchor yourself to your future. Whether that means simplifying your lifestyle, freeing up equity, or finally making that move to a smaller community like Thorndale or Lucan, the best move you can make is an informed one. Are you thinking about life in Exeter, London, or anywhere in between? We'll guide you to the right streets and the right home when you're ready. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe to Community Real Estate Group London and Area Living for more expert real estate tips and neighborhood insights. Are you ready to take the next step? Visit communityrealestategroup.ca. We're ready to guide you every step of the way.